Hello everyone. The time is currently 8:24 a.m. on July 7th, 2025. We are now on day 3, or is it day 2? Well, I guess it's day 2. No. Day 3 of starting the diet. And I checked my weight again. My weight is currently 183.2, which is pretty good because yesterday was 184.4, so it's down a pound from yesterday. Not bad if I do say so myself. Yesterday, I had these meals. In the morning, scrambled egg with butter, cheese, and salsa. Then, in the afternoon, it was quite a smorgasbord, which included, so much. Where do I even begin? Well, I went to Walmart and I bought a bunch of items that were labeled low carb, low sugar, and I just kind of had all of that. What I had included a bowl of a protein cereal called Magic Spoon. It's the one that is Fruit Loop flavored, but no sugar. It was surprisingly really good. Then, after that, I had a low carb peanut butter and jelly sandwich using the keto bread that I found on sale, where it's 1 gram of carb per slice, so I thought I'd give that a try. Overall, it wasn't too bad, but the jelly was a little funky, not gonna lie. It had a strange aftertaste to it. It's one of those things where if you don't think about it, you're not gonna be weirded out by it, but if you do, then you're gonna have a bad time. The peanut butter, though, was pretty much just grounded up peanuts with no sugar or oil mixed in. And I like peanuts, and that was fine to me. So, hey, that was good. Other than that, what else did I have? I had a nut bar that used no sugar. It used allulose instead, and that was pretty good. I liked that. And then I made keto muffins just to see what they tasted like. I mean, it's one of those things where, if you don't think too hard about it, it's passable, but the longer you let it sit in your mouth and the longer you kind of absorb what flavor you're eating, the more you'll notice some weird inconsistencies that make it obvious it's not a blueberry muffin that's normal. For example, they used a mixture of almond flour and coconut flour in this recipe, and I can easily taste the coconut flour. It was very, very obvious. So that's what I had, about like 1.5. What else did I have? Well, I think that was my lunch for yesterday. And for dinner, I had a chicken breast and a chorizo sausage, and that's what I ate for all of my meals yesterday. I'd say all of them were pretty low carb, although I did get quite experimental and funky around the middle of the day with all the different options. And I gotta be honest, it was because I was like feeling really low on energy and I wanted to eat stuff that would make me feel a little higher, but I was still pretty low, and I think it's just because my body's trying to adapt to the new energy resources that I'm giving it. So once it's adapted, I think I'll be good to go. Well, now that that's covered, I suppose we can get into how yesterday went. I woke up in the morning at around I think 8 o'clock. I had breakfast, the scrambled eggs with cheese and salsa, while my mom and family friend had their scrambled eggs in a burrito shell, or tortilla shell. And then I took a shower. As I was showering, my mom began banging on the door near the end, saying we need to go, because usually when church arrives, she really wants to be on time. So I had to hurry up and get out of there and get ready, comb my hair. My car was behind my mom, so I had to go and move it out of the way so she could go. I went into my mom's car and we drove to church with my family, our family friend in the lead. Now, when we got there, we greeted one of the greeters outside who was talking about how they didn't like illegal fireworks because they were a risk to people's homes. For example, apparently there was a story going around that somebody lit their fireworks incorrectly, and it ended up taking down their house and then 3 houses over. So overall, I guess he's really anti-illegal firework, and I mean, I don't blame him. In any wrong hands, because they're illegal and you shouldn't be using them at all. I do not condone this. Do not, under any circumstances, light them. Yes. Well, moving on, we were walking into the church, and what we found was that everyone was singing and praising the Lord while we walked in, and we found our seats. We had to find them this time. It was pretty crowded today compared to how it normally is, where it's a bit more spotty, but today there was a bit more people this time around, which was interesting. Well, once we found our seats, we sung a little bit, we sat down, and then we listened to the sermon. And now I'm trying to remember exactly what the sermon was about. I remember it had something to do with like people who are rich giving a bit to help a cause, but someone who is not rich and has no money giving everything they have to a cause, and they have the bigger sacrifice, so therefore their giving means so much more than the rich people's giving. And he was using the what was it called, America, as like us being the ones with all the resources and cash, while people are barely scraping by in other parts of the world. So I just thought it was pretty interesting how he was talking about that. Really fascinating stuff. Well, here's a funny story. It was communion today, and since I'm trying to go low carb, I was like, oh, I can't eat that whole cracker. What am I gonna do? Normally they crunch the crackers up and put them on a plate for you to choose. So when my turn came, I found the smallest one I could find, and I split it in half so that way I wouldn't eat the whole cracker, and it was only like this big. The juice I didn't think was that big of a deal because it was just a tiny little cup. So yeah, we had communion, and that was quite good. Then it was time to go. I didn't feel like hanging around and talking, mostly because this was around the time that my low sugar and low processed carb diet was really hitting me like a brick in terms of like my energy levels. Like I just was not feeling super energized today. And there's Avery, by the way. Say hi. All right. Yeah, I was not feeling super energized, and I just didn't have it in me to conversate. So our family friend decided to drive me and her home. And no, don't go behind there. My gosh, this guy's causing all manner of chaos right now. I better take him out. Well, that added some unexpectedness to the day, didn't it? I guess we could always use some of that. So before we drove home, I wanted to stop by the closest store to pick up some food for my specialized diet. I picked up a whole lot of different things: chorizo sausage, the peanut butter, the zero sugar jelly, the Magic Spoon cereal, the almond milk, the whole milk yogurt, zero or low carb bread from arrow wheat, and like nut bars. So it was a lot, and it was no shortage of endless food to choose from. So that was good to see. Now, when we got home and arrived and I was putting food away, I put the yogurt on the chair because I needed to get my key out to open the front door. All the other food was in my arms, and then our family friend said they needed to go back to the store to get their phone again because they forgot their phone, and they wanted me to put all of their food in the fridge. So I was like, okay. So I opened the door. I brought the rest of the food into the house. But guess what? I forgot to put the whole milk yogurt in the house. And that ended up going bad because I left it there for like 5 hours in the sun. I don't know. Maybe I was distracted by the whole phone thing, or I don't know. Maybe I was so low energy that I just wasn't conscious about that. Whatever the reason is, I am now out $5 of yogurt. So that sucks. But anyways, yeah, I put everything back in, and then I tuned in to a online podcast while eating a bowl of Magic Spoon cereal. That was pretty good. And then I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And after eating the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I had on the ride back from the store, I had one of those nut bars. And then pretty much for the rest of the day, I just rested. I really didn't do a whole lot. I just slept the entire day because of how low energy I really was. It was crazy, really crazy. I was woken up by my mom later in the day at around 8 to take a walk. So I did do that. But before that, I do remember we grilled the chicken breast. The problem was the chicken breast was very thick. So it took a while for the thickest part to get, safely warm in the middle. And the problem with that is, like, if you leave the chicken breast on for too long, then it'll end up drying out the surface of the chicken. So the surface was slightly dry, but the inside was nice and soft. So that was kind of frustrating, but hey, at least we wouldn't get salmonella. And around 7, I decided I would finish this movie that I was given called The Accidental Tourist. And yeah, I finished that. And it was pretty good. It was like a movie about like someone trying to plan for everything, and there's some things in life you just can't plan for. You can't control everything, and you kind of have to let what life decides to augment how you deal with things. It was a pretty interesting tale. It was like about a guy who fell in love with a dog coach. Pretty interesting. It was directed by Lawrence Kasdan, the guy who helped write scripts for Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. So it was pretty profound, pretty good. I liked it. Well, then my mom wanted me to go on a half-hour walk with her, and so we did that, and it was a nice walk. And then afterwards, we got home. I brushed my teeth, I took vitamins, and then I went to bed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Of course, as I was going to bed, I was listening to a affirmation for being wealthy, I remember. I don't know if it works or not, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I woke up this morning, took my weight, got some water, and now here I am. I'm hoping today I have more energy than I did yesterday. I'm supposed to go to my nearest bank and get a new book of checks because I've ran out of checks. So I better do that because that's something very important to get done. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.